안녕하세요. Again, welcome to the class. This is week 3. So I hope you're getting more accustomed to this online class. Today's topic is rites of passage in Korea. The very term rites of passage may sound a bit strange, but actually it's a very universal phenomenon. In every society, an individual was born to this world, and until the death of the person, we follow the kind of steps as we grow older. We're boys and girls, and then we become adults, getting married, and grow old, and finally pass away. These are a biological kind of path we all should follow. But interesting enough, every culture celebrates certain moments with certain very ritualistic behavior. And that's very interesting, especially for anthropologists. So by studying this specific ritual, so-called rites of passage, such as wedding, coming of age rituals, we not only learn the ritual itself, the cultural implication, the social meaning of that specific ritual. So if you study hard enough, the ceremony itself kind of contains the very important social values and ideals in a given society. So we study rites of passage to study culture. So again, this is a very productive way to understand a traditional and also contemporary Korean society by studying specific topic of rites of passage. Okay, let's begin. So these are the goals of this week's topics. So you understand the importance of rites of passage in a traditional culture. And we identify each rites from birth till the final ritual, which is a funeral. And finally, I like to talk about the continuity and discontinuity of these rituals in a contemporary Korean culture. So, I mean, this is interesting. We have rites of passage, but some of rites kind of weaken or disappeared, but at the same time, certain rites continues, but with different forms. So these interesting evolutions, again, very exciting topics. So that's what I meant. We studied traditional funeral. What about today? What about wedding 100 years ago? And what about now? So what's the difference? What's being still continuing? So these are very interesting topics. Okay. So again, this is kind of general flow of the rites of passage. So we are all in the same road, passing this life, I guess. So not only in Korea, this universal structure. So there are always birth rituals. But what those are rituals? I mean, every culture, they have differences and interesting features. Coming of age rituals, and then marriage, wedding rituals. And here we have 6 interesting rites of passage found in traditional culture. 60th birthdays. We call it 환갑 잔치 in Korean. So this interesting notion, number 60 or 60th birthday. So you'll understand why this number 60 signifies in traditional Korean thoughts. Why not 80s or maybe 90s? So you have to understand why this 60, the number itself, symbolize in traditional Oriental thoughts, actually. And finally, the funerals. And especially in Joseon Dynasty, because of this very Confucian ideology, the education, especially education through rituals, is very important. It's not just conversational words. By having these elaborate rituals, you learn about the social ethics how to say, how to greet each other, how to show your respect to the elders. So it's very ritualistic society if you look at traditional Joseon society in Korea. But in general, in Asian society, these social etiquettes, important still today, that it has to do with this Confucian culture in a certain degree. So rites of passage, we are educating people and begin to perform them within the family. So this term, kare, if I write in Korean, it looks like this. It's a family rites. So I mean, basically all these rituals, rites of passage, conducted within family. So these days, if you get married, you're getting married in a wedding chapels outside. You pay for them, you get the service. But in traditional society, it's all conducted within the family. Okay? So kare, the importance of kare cannot be underestimated in traditional Korean society. So I'll take just wedding. So you'll start with a birth ritual, a coming of age, but as an example, I'll just pick one of those, wedding. So these are the traditional procedures. Generally, there are 4 steps. First, 의혼. Maybe sounds exotic here, but the contents is very simple. It's a marriage negotiation between 2 families. If you think of traditional society, it's not like an individual meeting another individual. Again, I emphasized already, it's a very family-oriented social structure. So the wedding itself is basically the family affairs. So there is a family negotiations. And after that, 납체 means sending the prospective groom's year, month, and day, and finally hour of a birth. We call it 사주, which means 4 pillar. So there is a traditional belief system. So these numbers, year, month, day, and hour, kind of affecting the destiny of the person. So as a family member, I mean, if you have new groom or bride, certainly they're interested in these 4 pillars to kind of understand the individual's, let's say, destiny. Again, this is very traditional belief. You will learn more in the contents. So that's the 납체 stage. So you send them to bride's household. And if the bride's family agrees, it continues here. 납패, again, sounds exotic. It's simply delivery of a box. We call it ham. Even today, I think there's some Korean families perform this ham practice. So it's not traditional way, but the ham still exists. Of course, they wearing now Western costumes. Instead of riding donkeys or horses, they probably ride a taxi or drive their own car, but still delivering this ham to bride's family, containing this information. And then finally, the wedding is completed by having 친형. It's the actual wedding ceremony itself. So these are basically 4 steps can be found in traditional wedding. These are the picture of 친형 from all the folk painting found in 19th century. Here, without any words, I just posted 2 images here. This is a very interesting, popular image. You can find if you visit Seoul, a cosmopolitan area. Actually, these are taken in one of the palaces in Korea. I guess it's Deoksugung. You see, interesting the contrast to wedding couples here, wearing Western bridal gown, and he's wearing tuxedos. Here, they change into traditional costumes called hanbok. Again, we'll study hanbok in later weeks. And they have pictures, and they have the wedding album, which is kind of fashion these days. Sometimes it costs a lot of money, but to celebrate their wedding, they have this special session called the album photo sessions with the background of the palace structure. Again, this is another changing new elements. And also, it visually shows there's a Western and also traditional elements kind of coexist. And also this new custom, I think, having photo albums celebrating their own wedding. The very notion is very Western in a certain way because there's no guest or just two of them. It's very romantic notions. So if you look at the Korean contemporary weddings, you can see not only the traditional elements, but at the same time, contemporary elements kind of coexist, create something new, wedding form in 20th century. So these are the basic summary of week number 3. So in Confucian ethics, the rites of passage is very important because through these rites, people get educated. It's not just acquiring scientific knowledge or certain information. They taught how to live. Simplest way, how to greet, how to say hello, how to sit, how to eat. So by creating these detailed rites, the message were given to young generation, and this is basically the core of the Confucian education. So that's the rites of passage is so important. And again, I already mentioned, marriage was not a contract between two persons. It's actually between two families or two lineages. So this is another interesting notion. If you compare these with contemporary trend, you can see kind of the both influence exist. If you're ready to be married, of course you think of yourself, but at the same time you have to think of your family, how your parents will take your partners. So even today, I don't think it's one or the other. Let's say it's kind of negotiation process can be found in contemporary weddings. So that makes, again, a Korean contemporary wedding is interesting. So among the 4 rites of traditional society, the most conservative in modern times is funeral. So again, the lecture notes shows and discuss even the contemporary funerals is changed less than other rites of passage in traditional society. So this is it for week 3. So I hope you'll continue to enjoy the reading of the class. Thank you.